Hey everybody, welcome to Real Men Craft 2. I'm Richard. Let's get into today's video. What I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be showing you the mermaid whip in progress or work in progress. We're going to do a pendant. Yes, we're going to do a beaded Swarovski crystal pendant. And I'm going to open this. Yeah, I got some mail that I ordered for me and a friend. And come back after the intro. Okay, so here's the mermaid progress. Yes, she's very, very, very pretty. Yeah, she is really, really pretty. I have to admit, I am impressed. This is the gold filament, the gold sparkly thread. And then all these spots here, all these spots here are gonna be beads. Well, most of them. I still have some blue and some lime green to pop in there. But, and then I still have to finish the tail right here. And then this little, like sparkle, there's groups of beads here at the end of her tails, of her tail. Yeah, the points of her fins are gonna be, well, I'll show you on the pattern right here. Let me grab the pattern. So on the pattern right here, let me scoot this back. So these clusters right here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, are gonna be beads. And then there's like in the picture right here. Oh, let me turn this ring light off so there's no glare. So there's gonna be this big filigree piece here, and then there's a fish up here, and then like a shell or a lamp. I don't know what that is. It looks like a shell, but, and then of course up above, you know, all this red is beads here and here. But yeah, she's really, really, really pretty. I cannot wait. Hey, welcome back everybody. So I am drinking coffee today out of my Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band mug, and it says the Beatles love in there. This is from the San Francisco. This is from the Las Vegas show, the Cirque du Soleil show, Love, the Beatles. If you've never seen it, it's absolutely incredible. So I poured the coffee in this cup today thinking of Tammy Ellis. So Tammy Ellis, I know you're a huge, 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 huge Beatles fan. So am I. Love the Beatles. I love them word for word. So before I get into today's video, I want to welcome some new subscribers. And speaking of subscribers, if you guys have not subscribed yet to the channel, hit that little subscribe button right there or down below in the descriptions link. What that does, it just lets you know when I am making a new video. If you're into crafting, creating, just being, you know, working in the world of diamonds and beads and crystals and everything else, just hit that button. It doesn't hurt, it's free, and ring that bell. It just gives you a notification when I post a new video. So you do have to be subscribed to the channel to be able to be, what's the word I'm trying to use? To be available or be able to like participate in any giveaways of anything I'm doing. So yeah, let's open this. So this came from, oh yeah, see, I'm getting off track. So what I was gonna do before I get into today's opening and the video, I'm gonna shout out some new subscribers. So Yeah, let's do that first. So in no particular order, I want to welcome Weebles72, Maddie's mom, Shelly Minton, Victoria Everett, Kate Marshall, Crystal Keaton, Katarina Beswedenhout, or Holt, I should know that, I'm German, Vicky Kissinger, Notorious Dawn, Coffees and Stitches with Mandy, I love that name, Delaney Tidwell, Linda62366, Crafty Enabler, and Amas Art Goods, and Amy C, and Ralph, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, Ralph Tigdiswell. Sorry if I slaughtered that. And then I have two more here. Alex and Amy Anders. So let's get into this opening. So I know what this is. This came from Lassen Lathe Works, and I ordered 2 diamond pens. So I'm gonna pop you guys down here. Let's open this. Now I ordered, Daniel, the creator of these, is so cool. I'm gonna pull up my sleeves a little bit. Daniel is so cool. He let me pick out the blanks of the colors that I wanted. So I ordered myself one. I'm gonna pop this over here so you don't see them. And then I ordered Tammy one. So Tammy's got one coming. This is from Lassen Lathe Works, handmade diamond pens and ink pens. There's his gift card, or his business card. Beautiful picture. Here's his info. He does have an Etsy page. He does phenomenal videos of him creating the pens. It's absolutely amazing to watch. So here's the first one. Wow, these are really, 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 really pretty. So I picked out a blank of rainbow colors because I've always wanted a rainbow pen and I didn't have one. Well, now I got one. It looks like the purple got lost a little bit. There was a lot of purple here on the end, but as he spins these, and then these have got captive beads on them. Yeah, it's really cool how he creates the rings. He well, you just gotta watch his videos. But yeah, I love this. It's very lightweight. It's very, very, very comfortable. I've got really big hands. It's very comfortable, and I can't wait to use this. Mine came with a 3-placer, the thin ones, which I love, and then there's the single tip. There's a single placer tip on the other side. Now let's look at Tammy's. Now Tammy's came with, I ordered hers with tips. Wow, he sent a lot of tips actually. Oh wow, how cool. He sent 2 spacers, so I'm gonna take one of those. These aren't spacers, these are actually straighteners. So there's 2 straighteners. Here's a 3. Here is a 5 or a 7, and then another 5 or a 7, and then another 3. So actually it looks like he sent us each tips. So yeah, we each got a set of tips. So now here's Tammy's. So Tammy's favorite colors are teal, peach, and turquoise. Sorry, Tammy, there's not any peach in here. It's more of a pink. But it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And I had Tammy's done with the 2 captive beads. These are just fun things we can play with while we're working with them. So Tammy, that's your pen. It'll be going out in the mail in the next couple days. Very transparent. The colors look like they're floating, actually. They look like they're floating in ice. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's Daniel over at Lassen Lathe Works, and that's here in Northern California. So you guys, one more time, I'll show you his info. Yeah, and he is at Lassen Lathe Works at Etsy or .etsy.com right there. So Daniel, thank you so much. I will be sending Tammy's out. Tammy's, yours will be coming in this jewelry box. So now I've done the shout outs. So what I am going to be doing is, hang on, I'm going to pop you back up here. Yeah, we're going to be doing one of these pendants. Now, this beaded pendant, for those of you that are fairly new to beading or brand new to beading, or those of you that have been doing it for 100 years like I have, actually I've only been doing it for 51 years. This is a cubic right angle weave. Now, if I had a piece in front of me, which I don't, I would show you exactly what cubic right angle weave looks like. In fact, I have a picture of it worked up that in a piece that I did in seed beads. So I'm going to pop that up right here. Yeah, cubic right angle weave makes phenomenal ropes. Now, if you use a size 11 or a size 15 seed bead, it makes beautiful ropes, and you can embellish it. You can change the size of beads. You can do almost anything you want with cubic right angle weave. Now, the reason it's called cubic right angle weave is because if you look at the piece, it has 4 sides, just like a box. Or if you think of a Rubik's Cube, how it's got the 4 sides, cubic right angle weave has 4 sides also. Now, you're gonna hear me say, let's put on the right wall, the left wall, the floor, or the ceiling. The reason I teach right angle weave like that is because when you're holding the piece in the hand and you visually look at it, you can see a 4-sided square, top being the ceiling, bottom being the floor, and then the right and the left walls. As we pick up our beads, we're going to either we pick them up 1 at a time or sometimes 3 at a time. Sometimes we'll pick up 2 at a time, depending on what side of the box you're at. It sounds confusing, but it's not. It's very, very easy. I hold my pieces at a sideways angle. Some people hold theirs up and they work this way. I find it really confusing to follow the instructions that way. So I'm gonna hold it and show you exactly how I look at it and how you will be looking at your piece as you're beading it. So yeah, let's get into what we are going to need. So I'm gonna drop you down to my bead board here in a minute, and then I'm gonna turn you guys over. I use, when I do cubic right angle weave, now if I'm doing a rope for a necklace, I will use Fireline, or I will use like a KO thread or a 1G, or even, here's KO thread, let me grab it. Here's what KO thread looks like. Yep, that's KO thread. This comes in like 30 colors, and it's phenomenal to do beadwork with. Now this is, let me grab one. This one only comes in like 12 colors, and this is actually the Sunoco Nozu. It's a Japanese 100% nylon beading thread. It's incredible to work with. If you've never used Nozu Sunoco, you should really, I don't know why my camera's not focusing. Let's see. Yeah, it's just being a butt. Let's do it this way. Yeah, that's the beading thread, the Nozu Sunoco. Great, great, great. This is great stuff. This is very flexible. It has a little bit of stretch to it, not bad, but it also comes in colors. I'm gonna put that back over on my, and you know, you can use almost anything. However, when I do a sculptural piece that I'm gonna hang from like a necklace or a rope, as this pendant is, I use fishing line. Now I'm gonna be using a 4 pound in today's. And what I do, I cut like an arm's length, which is like, well, my arms reach out to almost, no, my arm span is actually like 6.5 feet. But I use about 4 feet to do the size pendant that we're going to do today. Now, the pendant is about 1.5 inches, and I will show you a little video clip right here. Yeah. It's about 1.5 inches, about 1.5 inches long. And you can put any size jump ring in the top to slide down over a chain, a rope, or you can actually permanently bead it right onto a rope. Now, with crystals, this is a good point. People ask me all the time, well, Richard, how do you keep them clean? I recommend every time I sell a piece that has Swarovski crystals in it or any kind of crystals, I always tell my customers, do not wear this to bed. Do not wear it in the shower or get it wet because it does get soap on it. And if you just totally refuse to do that, you will need to drop the pendant into a jewelry cleaner for about 10-15 seconds to get the grime and guck off it. Don't wear it in a chlorinated pool. It's not really that hard to maintain them. You just want to keep the brilliance and the brightness of the crystals, in the piece of jewelry. You're going to put the time and effort into it. Keep it pretty and keep it shiny. So I am going to be using 48 4mm bicones. You can use round. You can use pearls. I like bicones the best. And then I'm going to use some Toho size 11 seed beads. And then the beading thread of your choice. Like I said, you're going to use about 4.5 feet. So let's get going. I'm going to grab my bead tray. I'm going to pop you guys down here and we're going to get to work. Okay, so let's get started. So first things off about right angle weave. Right angle weave, you're going to hear it called right angle weave, or like we're doing today, we're going to be doing cubic right angle weave. So if you hear somebody on the internet or YouTube refer to something as craw, like a crawdad, craw, that means cubic right angle weave. Now, cubic right angle weave is a three-dimensional little cube. So of course, if you can picture a little like a dice or even this box, this is what we're going to be building today. Each side of a box has a floor, a wall, both either a left or a right wall, and a ceiling. If you rotate it, here's your floor, your walls, and your ceiling, your floor, your walls, and your ceiling, your floor, your walls, and your ceiling right there. So this is what we're going to be building. So I'm going to do it. I always do mine this way. I do 1 wall, 2 walls, 3 walls, 4 walls, and then I connect it with this adjoining wall here. Then we're going to go through the top 4 beads on the top, and we're going to go through the top 4 beads on the bottom just to secure it. I'm going to show you how we do it. Don't let this scare you. It's not that hard. It sounds really hard, but it's not. I've had a lot of my beading students, say, oh, Richard, I can't do it. And then they mastered it and it became one of their favorite bead stitches ever. So I've taken the first 4 bicones, I've tied them into a knot, and the knot is right there. You're not going to see that knot. And then the thread that was hanging out, I used my bead zapper and melted it right there. Do not, when you push this button, this tip is going to get extremely red and very hot. See it smoking? You do not ever want to touch that because it is extremely hot. Yeah. So here's the first wall. The 4 beads consist of the floor, ceiling, and the 2 walls. I'm coming out of a wall bead. We're going to add, we've already got 1. Each side consists of 4 beads. One of those beads is going to be shared. This is going to be the bead we're going to share. So I've already got 1 bead. I'm going to pick up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go stitch away from me like I always do. I'm going to go through the bead that I'm coming out of. But that's where my knot is, so excuse me. After you tie your knot, you want to go through that bead and the next bead, and you'll see why. See how much easier it makes your thread go through? Okay, now we're going to pick up those 3 beads again. I'm going to go through the bead we're coming out of. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to go through the next 2 beads. So, because in order to build this length, I have to have, let me put it here. I have to have 4, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So we're gonna build this length until we have 4 little shared squares. So in order to get there, we can't just go over here because our thread would show. So we're gonna go through this bead and this bead to be on this side wall. You always wanna be coming out of a wall. So you're just gonna go through 2 beads. Okay, I got my needle rethreaded. And now you can flip it over, stitch away from you. It's actually easier to do it that way. You're gonna go through 1. Remember, we're always gonna go through 2 beads when we start this out to get to where we need to be. 2. So now we're back at where we were with this first one. So we've got 1 bead here. I need 3 more. Now you guys can always slow down this video or just hit the pause. So we're going to pick up 3, go through the bead our thread's coming out of. Okay, I'm going to flip this in my hand. Now, I did this on purpose. You're going to notice sometimes, wow, I only have 2 beads there. What did I do wrong? You only picked up 2 beads. Right angle weave is very easy to fix. But you have to catch it when you do it. So you're just going to back out of those beads, pick up your 3rd one, go back through the bead you're coming out of in the same direction. Always stitch away from me. So now we've got 4, 4, 4. But we don't really have 4 because we're sharing that 4th bead. It just looks like that. I'm going to rotate it in my hand, stitch away from me. We need to go through 2 beads. 1, rotate it again, 2. So now we have, here's an easier way to count these. If you count the top or the bottom beads, you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We need 4, so we have to put on 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a funny trick. Some people say, I did the 4th wall wrong. Because when we close this, we're going to share that bead. So watch what we're going to do. We're not going to pick up 3 beads on the last one. We're going to pick up 1. Okay. We're going to drop that down. I'm going to share this wall, so this end bead. So we're going to go through this bead. I flip it over to where I can stitch away from myself. I'm going to fold that up, make like a little boat in my hand. So now we've got 1, 2, 3 beads. I'm going to put on the last one and go through that bead to close it. Now, if you guys can tell, you guys can see my little tail there showing. See that little tail right there? When you work with nylon, sometimes it'll back out. Don't worry about it. So now we've got our perfectly little four-sided square. Now you're going to notice that it's kind of floppy. So we're going to go through these 4 beads on the top. Now, if you look, this is the top. This is the bottom. So we're going to go through the 4 beads in the ceiling. So we're going to go through 1. Some people go through all 3 of these beads at once. I don't like to. I like to go through 1 at a time so it doesn't mess up my tension. 2, 3, and 4. Now, normally when I teach this, I would use an opaque bead, but since this is Bruce's, I have to replace it in the colors that he wants. And then we're going to go through this last one. Your last one's always going to be kind of tight because this is the second passing. I just hold it. I know you can't see the piece, but I hold it in my hand. Now it's nice and snug. So this little thread right here, I am going to burn it down right to there. You won't see it later because we put seed beads in there. So the top, the ceiling right there that I just went through is snug. So I'm going to go down through a bead and we're going to move to what was the floor. And now you can see that these 4 beads right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are not secure. So we're just going to go through them. We're going to go through 1, rotate it 1/4 of a turn, 2, rotate it in my hand, and then the 3rd one. Now we've got our bottom, our floor, and our top, which is our ceiling. So we've got it connected. Now you can turn this sideways and you can go through the other 2 sides if you feel your stitching wasn't tight enough, but you don't really have to because we're going to go through this later with the seed beads on, and we're going to snug the floors of this apartment building up. But I'm just doing it so now I'm ready to build the 2nd floor. Okay, so we're going to build the 2nd story of this apartment building. So we need to come out of a bead. Doesn't matter what side you're going to come out of. So I'm going to hold this, and especially having really big hands, it's kind of difficult, but we're going to build sideways. So that bead we're coming out of, we're going to pick up 3. Now we're doing the same exact thing we did on the first floor of the apartment building, but I'm going to show you an easier way to remember where you're at. All you're going to do, you're always going to pick up your beads, and then we're going to rotate our piece toward us 1/4 of a turn to the next side. So we're going to pick up 3 beads, and remember on the first one, we always pick up 3. So there's the first 3 beads. Okay, I'm going to rotate it 1/4 of a turn toward me, go through the next bead. Now you guys can write that down. You can write down step 1 of 2nd floor, pick up 3 beads, go through the bead my thread's coming out of, rotate it 1/4 of a turn toward me. So there's the first 3 beads. I rotated it, went through the bead. Now you can see that we've got 1, 2, So the second step, we always pick up 2. So you can write that down too. Step 1, I'll be picking up 3 beads. Step 2, I'll pick up 2 beads and go through these 2. Pull your thread. That joins the next 2 beads. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to rotate my apartment a quarter of a turn toward me. We're going to do it all over again. We're going to take our needle through that bead that our thread normally comes out of. So there we are again. We've got 2 beads. Remember, step 1, we get to pick up 2 beads. We're going to go through this bead here and this bead here. So we're taking our needle through the bead that our thread was originally coming out of. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to rotate the piece toward me a quarter of a turn. Now we're down to that last one. So you're going to notice we've got 1, 2, 3 beads. We've got to put this wall on right here. So we're going to put a bead right here. So this time we're going to go through the bead on the floor, which if you hold it up like the apartment, there's the floor. But when you hold it in your hand and you look at it, it's your left wall. So you can think of it either way you want to do it. We're going to go through 1, 2, this is where we're going to place that last bead right here. We're going to go through this bead. Now we have all 4. So I need to get up to this ceiling. So we have to work our way up there. So we're going to go through 2 beads. Sorry, I'm struggling. I'm not using my magnifier. So we're going to go through 1, 2, and that puts us to the top. Now we just need to go through these 4 beads to secure the top floor of the second floor of our apartment. 3 and 4. I don't know what Bruce is doing in the kitchen, you guys, but just ignore it. So you're going to notice that this last bead right here doesn't have a connection. So we just go through the first bead again. So now we're going to do it all over again. Now, if you notice, we've got floor 1 of our apartment building and floor 2. So remember, to build the first side of the new floor of the apartment building, we always pick up 3 beads. We're going to go through the bead that our thread's coming out of. So there's the 3 beads. Rotate the piece a quarter of a turn toward you. Take your needle through that next bead of the second floor. Now we've got a bead here and a bead here. We only have to pick up 2. So remember, step 1, we pick up 3. Step 2, we're going to pick up 2. We're going to go through the 2 beads that we have here already. This puts us right back to where we were at the beginning of building step 3, where now we've got 4 beads. We're going to rotate the piece a quarter of a turn toward us. Go through that bead. I wish I could talk to you guys and say, okay, can somebody tell me how many beads I want to pick up? We've got 2 beads. We're only going to pick up 2. We're going to go through the 2 that we have right here. And I'm going to pull right there. Rotate it a quarter of a turn. We've got wall, wall, wall. We're on this 4th one. We've got 1, 2, 3 beads. So remember to place the last bead, has to be right here. I've got to work my way over there. 1, 2. We're going to place that last bead right here. Sorry, my little bead mat is sliding on the table. Normally I have this sitting on my bead on it board, but I don't. So we're going to place this last bead right here. This is the 3rd step. So remember, step 1, we pick up 3 beads. Step 2, we pick up 2 beads. The last step, which is step 3, we only pick up 1. We're going to go through this bead and this bead. And those of you that have never worked with nylon, you're going to say, oh, this is too hard. But it only looks hard because, of course, when you want to teach it. So there we go. I've got 1 side, 2 side, 3 sides, 4 sides. Threads coming out of this bead right here. If we hold it up, we need to come up to the top and go through these 4 beads on the ceiling, remember? So we're just going to work our way up there. We're going to go through 1 bead. Hold the piece firm in your hand because it's going to want to jump and get away from you. And if your thread starts curving up like this, all you got to do again is stretch. Like a bounce stretch, like that. Takes it right out. So we're going to go through that 1 bead, and then we're going to go through 2 beads. So now we're at the top. We're at the top of the roof of the building. We're going to go through these 4 beads at the top. So we're going to go through 1, rotate it a quarter of a turn, go through 2, rotate it a quarter of a turn, go through 3, rotate it a quarter of a turn toward you, go through 4. Now we're going to do it all over again. So we've got 3 floors. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do it all over again. So we're right back to step 1. We're going to pick up 3 beads. Go through the bead where our thread's coming out of. Remember, this first pass is going to be tight. So you can use your pliers to pull your needle through if you have to. Don't break your thread, because remember, if you grate that nylon against the edge of that crystal, it's going to cut it. You guys saw me do it twice. There's the 3 beads we just picked up. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to rotate the piece toward us a quarter of a turn. Go through that next bead. Here's our 2 beads. 1, 2. We need to put on 2. So step 2, we pick up 2. Go through the 2 beads that we have here. And remember, your needle is always traveling in a clockwise motion. So if you guys get confused and say, now what direction was I going? Just hold your piece in front of you. Just remember, your thread always goes in a clockwise motion. So there's the 2 we just put on. So there's 4 beads. Rotate it a quarter of a turn toward us. Go through the next bead. Step 2, we're going to pick up 2 beads. Bruce is cooking in the kitchen, you guys. You're going to hear every single noise, so just ignore it. This is what real life is. So, I'm going to continue doing this until I've used up all my beads. Okay? Rotate it a quarter of a turn toward me. Go through that bead. Because we got to work our way over to put this top one on. This one right here. Step 3, pick up 1 bead. Go through this bead. That places it. We need to work our way up to this edge, the top. So we need to go through 3 more beads. We got to work our way up there because we don't want our thread to show. And you guys can do this with thread your very first time. Try using the bead thread. And then when you get comfortable with it, switch to the nylon. So I'm going to rotate this way to work my way to go through these 4 beads on the top of the apartment building. So remember, we're going to turn it sideways. We're going to go through 4 beads. There's 2. Rotate it. Go through the 3rd one. Rotate it. Go through the 4th one. Rotate it. Go through the 1st one again. So I'm going to put 2 more floors on here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you guys in here real quick. I'm going to show you my floors of my apartment building. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. To do 6 floors or this long of a pendant, you need 52 beads. I said at the beginning 48, but you'll notice that I edited it back in and put the amount. So we've got our building. We've got our building here. We're going to go down and put the seed beads here. So it doesn't matter what bead you're coming out of. Okay. We're going to put a seed bead here, 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 and here at all these corners. So we're going to pick up an 11 seed bead. I'm using Toho's. We're going to step through that next bead. Pop that seed bead into place. Pick up an 11 seed bead. Go through that next bead. Pick up a seed bead. We're going to do this 4 times. Pick up a seed bead. Go through that last one. Now we're going to go up and down the sides here. I don't go through this seed bead because if you do, it's going to turn it cattywampus. So we're coming out of this crystal, skip the seed bead, go down the side crystal. So we're going to go down this column. I have no idea what Bruce is doing, you guys. You're going to hear everything, so we're going to go through this next bead. Pops it right into place. Pick up a seed bead. Go into this next one. Pop it right into place. Seed bead. Pop this one into place. This piece is absolutely a gorgeous pendant. I've I've actually made them in 3mm crystals and turned them into earrings. You don't have to do them as long. Crystal or a seed bead. Go through the crystal. Now we're at the bottom. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through a bead. Pop in a crystal or seed. Why do I keep saying crystal? Sorry, guys. Pop in a seed bead. Rotate. Seed bead. Take a needle through the next crystal. It's going to get tight. Seed bead, crystal, seed bead, next bicone. We are back at the beginning. So we've got our 4 seed beads at the bottom. This brings us to this column here. We don't go through the seed bead. We're going to go right down this bicone. Seed bead. We're going to do this for all 4 sides, all 4 corners of the building. It's just easier to think of it as a building. You know, I could get all Sheldon Cooper and use scientific terms, but I just like to think of it as a building that we're creating an apartment. I'm going to slide this. There we go. So we've got 1 side, 2 sides. We need to come to the 3rd side. We just go through the beads. Because if you don't go through the beads, your thread or your nylon shows. Remember, we don't want that. We're going to skip the seed bead. Go through the crystal. You guys, this is going to be a very noisy video, sorry. Usually Bruce isn't home when I do these. He's usually got the dog at the park, but today it's pouring down rain. But this is the real life, you know, when you bead and create in a house. Sometimes you'll have kids, sometimes you'll have dogs or a cat crying. When it's allergy season, yeah. And I know a lot of you are going to ask, Richard, what do you sell these for when you sell them? One this big. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has 6 cubes. I sell it $10 a cube. So yeah, I get $60 for these. And I sell out at every show. So now we just have to put this last one on. You can go all the way around, or you can just backtrack. I'm going to backtrack. So we're going to go down the crystal And we're almost done. Normally I can pop one of these out in like 15 minutes. But when I'm teaching or trying to talk and do this and show everybody what I'm doing, it takes a little bit longer. Bruce's allergies are really, really, really bad right now. Here we are we're all done. It's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So now we're at the top. We are going to put some seed beads on to put our jump ring through. So we have to go from this bead to this bead. You always want an odd number of beads, and I'll show you why in just a sec. We're going to pick up 5 11s, or you can use 7 depending on how long you want it. Now, you're going to see that I'm coming out of a crystal right here. I'm not coming out of a seed bead. Okay? I do that on purpose. I am going to bring the thread completely right over here. So we're going to go directly over, go through this 11. Now you're going to say, that's an awful tight loop. You don't want your loop big on this. So now I'm going to go back over these 5 seed beads and reinforce. So I'm going to go through these 5 beads. Keep it tight so your thread doesn't show. Now when you get over here, you can see that we're coming out of a crystal, not a seed bead. Okay, so after you go through your 5 seed beads, you're going to notice that we have to go through this seed bead still. Now our loop is on there. Okay. Now, I normally take my thread back through these 5 seed beads. But if your thread is really, really, really tight, you can just, go through these beads and then come up from this side. I just take my thread up through the first 3. Right there. I tie a half hitch knot. Make sure your knot comes down. And then see how it makes that little point? That's why you want an odd number of beads. Go through the 4th and 5th bead. And then you're going to take your thread through the seed bead and a crystal. It's going to be tight. Just take your time. You don't want to break your thread at this point because you're done. You can go through a couple more beads if you want. Don't really have to. I like to hide my thread. I'm just going down a couple beads along the corner. These pieces are gorgeous. I love, love, love making these. I'm going to take my thread burner, burn it right there, and it's done. Now you can take a jump ring. You can put a jump ring right up through here and string it on a chain or a necklace. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. And then I'm going to show you that video one more time of the rainbow ones that I did for me and a friend. Take care, you guys. I want to tell you all thank you for staying with me for this 40-minute video. But hey, we got a lot done today. We talked about, I showed you guys my new diamond painting pen. I'm going to turn this light off. I'm going to pop you guys back up to me real quick. And hey, you guys, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Once again, that's Lassen Lathe Works, and he's here in Northern California. So check him out. He's got beautiful, beautiful diamond painting pens. He will custom make them for you. He does have a lot on his Etsy page. If you guys want a certain color, you can ask him. His name is Daniel. Just say, do you have any blanks in this color? And he'll show you what he's got, and he will work with you. But you guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I'm Richard with Real Men Craft 2. Have a bright and blingy day. I'm going to finish my coffee. Thanks so much again, you guys. Hope you like the mermaid. She's turning out really, really, really pretty. And hey, that's it. Enjoy your pillar of beauty. Yeah, it kind of looks like a stop sign, huh? Kind of looks, yeah. It reminds me of a hanging stop sign, you know, that hangs in the middle of our... Now this, like I said, this one is 6 floors. You need 52. 52? Yeah, for 5 floors, you need 44. Because remember, when you end, you have to end with the top side. So, yeah. Take care, you guys. I'm Richard with Real Men Craft 2. I'll see you guys on the next video. See you guys. Bye.